We begin at the courts this afternoon, specifically the High Court, which has declared the recently published regulations on public transport as null and void.
The High Court Judge George Odunga, who made the ruling, said the Transport Cabinet Secretary Michael Kamau prematurely published the new regulations as there were still matters pending in court.
The judge equated the move to contempt of court and an affront to the Constitution, saying the government sneaked in the new regulations that would compound costs which would have to be met by the taxpayers.
Justice George Odunga has, as a result, summoned the CS to appear in court on May the 14th and show cause as to why he should not personally meet the cost of litigation.
The regulations stipulated, among other things, that all matatus must belong to a SACCO with minimum of 30 serviceable vehicles to be registered as public service vehicles.
Democratic Party's candidate for the Othaya seat, Peter Kingara, could be in trouble with the IEBC for his campaign billboard in Othaya town. The National Alliance Party is writing to the electoral body to formally complain over Kingara's billboard. TNA members claim that the billboard wrongfully insinuates that Kingara is backed by TNA. The party chairman Johnson Sakaja accused Kingara of political fraud, citing that TNA is in full support of its candidate Mary Wamboi.
Violating the Political Parties Act is actually corruption, is a fraud.
TNA women, we will stand together, we will stand by her because we know this is the kind of leadership that Othaya needs. And we are here to affirm to Othaya people that they should see and decide, not let themselves to be lied to.
The only Jubilee candidate in Othaya is Mheshimiwa Mary Wamboi. DP is not an affiliate of Jubilee, it has never been. And the candidate who we are here for is Mheshimiwa Mary Wamboi. So the party will be taking action with regard to that fraud and misrepresentation, actually. And, making the electorate believe that there's no difference between the parties, that even this one is in Jubilee, is a lie.
Away from the campaign trail, Court Deputy Leader Kalonzo Musyoka is challenging the church to speak up on issues affecting the country, including corruption and insecurity. Now, Kalonzo says the voice of the church has gradually disappeared, adding that as spiritual leaders, the church should not keep quiet when the country is going in the wrong direction. Speaking during a funds drive at AIC Jericho Church in Makadara constituency earlier yesterday, the Wiper leader said the runaway insecurity in the country has been brought about by the corruption menace in the porous border points known to terrorists. Kalonzo, who was accompanied by various opposition MPs, urged the Uhuru administration to take security matters with much more seriousness.
Wanalipa tu kitu kidogo kwa polisi, KK, inchi ya kitu kidogo. This is what has brought maafa kwa makanisa, kwa watu kulipuliwa, because an officer who is supposed to look after you and me, anapatiwa tu, akionza kwanza $100, bas anauza the whole country. Lock, stock and barrel.
Some Kenyan made a very unfortunate statement saying that those who spoke about corruption are very junior foreign officers. Is that a good terminology? It is. Na ndio nataka sisi wa Kenya kama wanakanisa na wale wengine pale nje tuseme ukweli ya kwamba some things must be done right.
So here's what Jubilee leaders think about corruption. Led by Senate Majority Leader Kithure Kindiki and Elgeyo Marakwet Senator Kipchumba Murkomen, they are now calling on the government to set up war on corruption and accountability among leaders. Speaking in Nandi County, the leaders say the county heads and officers should not take devolved funds as monies misused on expenditure, so that they are not important. They want governors to be more accountable, as misused funds may be reason enough to warrant their dismissal. Senators say they will support impeachment motion against any governor who is accused of misuse of devolved funds.
Akazaliwa na Bikira Mariamu.
We want to tell the president, as the commander-in-chief of the defense forces not to negotiate with criminals and terrorists. And on this one, there is no middle ground. Hakuna mambo ya katikati. You are either with Kenyans or you are with the terrorists.
It says in Romans 14:12 that each one of us will account before God himself. There is an emphasis. Each one of us will account before God himself. In the same way, each of our leaders shall account before the people of Kenya himself, before the county assemblies himself, before the National Assembly himself, and before the Senate himself.
Residents of Kwale County are set to benefit from a water project by the Kenya Red Cross in partnership with Safaricom's M-Pesa Foundation. The project is expected to increase food security through increased access to clean water and agricultural support.
At least 2,500 residents from Vigurungani in Kwale County are set to directly benefit from the water project that is currently in the implementation process. When complete, the project is expected to address food insecurity, water supply, and improve sanitation in the region while opening economic opportunities through agriculture.
Tutaendelea kwa muda gani kuwapa watu chakula? Kweli kuna shida ya mvua na kweli kuna shida ya umaskini na uhaba wa uwezo wa watu, lakini mara nyingi nilikuwa nikijiuliza ni kwa nini tunazidi kusaidia watu kwa chakula.
Speaking during the groundbreaking ceremony, M-Pesa Foundation Executive Director Lace Bailey said the disaster reduction project aims to reduce the dependency of the community on relief food and instead empower them to produce their own food while earning an income.
This project belongs to the local community. And for us, the success of this project is that the local community is involved in the ongoing management of it. They are involved in the production of food.
Hizi pesa ambazo mmepeana hapa hazitaenda kupotea kwa sababu serikali ya county tutafanya kila liwezalo, na nafikiri mmeona tayari mawaziri husika wamejumuishwa hapa ili kuona kwamba wananchi hawa wanaweza kupata faida ya huu mradi.
According to the Kenya Red Cross, the 207 million shillings project will see the rehabilitation and improvement of Nyalani Dam to attain water storage capacity of 500 million litres of water for irrigation, domestic and livestock usage. The rehabilitation will also reduce the prevalence of diseases like malaria and malnutrition in the area, which is attributed to poor access to safe drinking water. Betty Kialo, KTN Newsdesk.
Back to the issue of terror in the country, and now a section of human rights activists is condemning the ongoing crackdown on illegal immigrants and criminal elements across the country, saying it is unfairly targeting Somali Muslims in Eastleigh.
The activists say the operation dubbed Salama Watch has led to the stigmatization of Somali Muslims and is presenting the Dab refugee camp as a place of terror.
We've been saying this is a very opaque exercise, not the exercise in the streets. That is very visible for anybody who cares to watch. For anybody who cares to see the brutality in the houses, in the streets, in the hotels, it's very visible. But we're talking about the opaque process that is Kasarani, Kisirani, the concentration camp that is there.
Away from that, let's talk about agriculture now. And agriculture officials in Kisii County have raised the red flag over the sale of uncertified fertilizer in open-air markets by unscrupulous dealers.
Officials led by Kisii County Director of Agriculture Nathan Soile and National Cereals and Produce Board Manager for the Kisii Depot, John Kiprugut, conducted an inspection at the Darajambili market in Kisii, where they came across several traders selling planting and top-dressing fertilizer in the open, a practice that is against the law.
The inspection team arrested a woman found selling new NCPB-branded Ghani bags. According to the officials, this is illegal, and it is an illegal trade likely to threaten food security in the area since the use of uncertified inputs cannot guarantee good harvesting.
It is not clear if the farm inputs were stolen from the National Cereals and Produce Board or the traders are using the board's Ghani bags to attract potential buyers.
Nisiongee uongo. Niongee kama mtu wa Mungu. Mimi sikuangalia maandiko. Sasa nyinyi ndiye mnafanya sasa ni sasa wakati mwingine nikienda kununua gunia ama chochote ninanunua niwe nikiangalia maandiko kwa sababu nimeona itakuja kuniletea shida.
Lakini back anything here the farmers will trust and believe that it originates from NCPB because that particular product of DAP is in high demand.
We are on the lookout for the people who are vending, the vendors, and we'll very soon know the source of where the vendors are getting Ghani bags labeled National Cereals and Produce Board with the logo and showing that the contents are DAP 1846-0.
Now, a truck driver was left in dilemma by his wife after she dumped their twin girls outside a guest house claimed to be his hideout. Yusuf Hamisi's wife claimed that her husband had refused to take care of the twins and was instead spending more time with other women in the guest house, leaving her with all the burden of providing for the children. The 6-month-old twins were left on the ground as their parents engaged in a war of words over who was to look after them. However, as the drama continued, a Good Samaritan rescued the two girls, then prepared a cup of porridge for them. The mother of the children, on the other hand, escaped, leaving Yusuf with his twins.
Sasa walikuwa wanakurushana pale njiani. Yule dada akabwaga watoto hapo kwa chuo changu hapo nyuma. Nikamwita nikamwambia kuna haja achia watoto njiani, yeye ndio waliteseka na watoto. Akanisikia kule akachukua wale watoto. Akakimbiza jamaa akakimbia na hii barabara akashukia hapa. Nikamwita huyu baba nikamwambia simama tuongee. Yule baba akanisikiza kweli akasimama. Aliposimama akaniambia huyu mama siwezi ongea naye chochote. Nikamwambia ni sawa, hata sitaki ongea naye, lakini naomba uangalie hao tu, uangalie watoto. Huyu baba kanisikia.
Kwa sababu huwa ninafanya biashara zangu na kazi, nikalala siku 2 nje, akasema niko na wanawake wa nje na mpango wa nje, ndio maana amekimbia huku kuja kuniachia watoto, ndo akakimbia akaacha watoto. Kwa sasa hata sisi sijui ameenda wapi na ni Mtanzania. Kwa hivyo amekimbia, hao watoto ndo ameniachia.
So the story completes airing, and Tunya's only question is, who is Yusuf? Who is Yusuf Hamisi? He's the father of the girls. He's not even concerned about their well-being. So let me hand you over to Boni Tunya, who is now going to bring you the business.
Right, let's talk business now. And the government is scouting for local investors to partner with it in developing major infrastructure projects. So far, Treasury's public-private partnership unit has earmarked 55 projects to be undertaken through the PPP framework, with initial emphasis on local partners. According to the PPP unit, this is geared towards mitigating foreign exchange losses associated with foreign investor participation. Treasury is targeting financial service providers to unlock the assets and hold the local, or rather the channel, into development projects. The providers, however, lament the lack of proper investment instruments that would enable them take part in the big tickets projects. The government has been fronting PPP investment in major transport and energy projects as it struggles to generate revenue to finance the projects.
Look at the Capital Markets Authority. There is what you call these asset-backed securities, and the act was passed. The amendments, the Kenya Markets Authority Act was passed not very long time ago. But those instruments have not been tested. So because nobody has used them. And we would want to use them during this process of preparing these projects. But it is how you design the project that makes the difference. Because those people will be working with to design these projects. They also look at the available instruments that we have and the other instruments that we perhaps need to create to make funds available. Because if you look at like the road sector, the person who will come to invest in that project, he will invest in dollars. But the collection of revenue is in Kenya shilling. So if we can be able to get local money, domestic money, it is very, very important, so that you don't have risks of foreign exchange risks.
Right, it has been an eventful afternoon, Edith. We're just about to bring this to a landing. But you do remember that the website you need to be reading is standardmedia.co.ke. And top of that story is the reconciliation efforts by the president to reconcile Swazuri and Charity Ngilu.
It's also time to give you your Did You Know fact. But
Right.
remember, that website is also the same one where you can get all the stories that we air here and others that keep being updated.
Okay.
To your Did You Know fact,
I
it's
hear you
Monday.
have two today.
I've got two.
All right.
Did you know body hair doesn't stop growing at a certain length, because body hair is meant to be really short.
Right.
It just leaves shorter lifespans, so it falls out before the
By
hair on
itself.
your head. Yeah.
Okay.
So you can imagine if it didn't, then...
But how come body hair removal creams are in business?
Well, I don't know how much hair you have on your body, but I don't have that much. Did you also know that 1/3 of the human population sneezes when they look at the sun? How cool is that?
Why? I thought sneezing had to do with what you inhale.
I have no idea.
It's official, light has a smell.
Well, it's official that my Did You Know facts are becoming more useful, and we're engaging in discussions because of them. My name is Edith Kimani. Have yourselves a good afternoon.
My name is Bonisunya. Good afternoon.
I know you were about to say something.